Hello again, welcome back to another video. Today I'm trying something a little bit different, and this may well annoy some people, so you can roast me in the comments. But the channel's called The Photographer's Bag, and traditionally this has predominantly been a film channel. But with the price of film and chemicals and supply disruptions and everything else, I think it's probably feasible to look at digital. The last camera I bought was a 5D Mark II, so that's definitely digital, full frame, for lens testing. When there's no cameras on eBay listed in the film section that I find particularly interesting, or I've got days to wait on watched items or whatever, I tend to look through the digital ones. And the other day I was doing exactly that, and I came across this for £30, not with a lens, it was just with the body. You don't get a lens for £30, but I do get the body. As you can see, this is an EOS 20D. I had one of these originally back in 2005. One of these was my very first DSLR, and I shot it a lot. I used to take it every day with me. I'd be out walking the dog and I'd carry it everywhere with me. I sort of had stopped photography for a couple of years. I was busy with getting on with life, but I thought maybe this digital stuff's going to actually take off in some sort of way, and yeah, it was taking off and kind of replaced film completely in the end almost. But so I picked this up for £30 anyway, including the battery and the charger and the mains lead for the charger, and it's a proper Canon charger. It's not a proper battery, it's a generic one. But I've also got a 5D Classic, which is the same battery and the same charger. I've got loads of those actually kicking about. But yeah, £30 delivered, post and packing free, with a, what you call it as well, one of them things that I never put on there, camera strap. But I never use camera straps. I think they cause more damage than they do anything else, having a camera swinging around on the end. But yeah, 20D, a whopping 8.3 megapixels. It's APS-C, has a crop factor of 1.6, so it's a bit of a challenge with wide-angle lenses. It certainly was back in 2005 when Canon introduced the 10 to 18mm super wide sort of lens, which was equivalent to a 16 to 28 or so. That was a much more affordable lens, and it had IS, if I remember right. I've got one kicking around somewhere. But that opened up a whole field of pleasure. I bought it predominantly for using manual focus lenses with, but the issue I found is that the viewfinder on these is particularly crummy. It's like looking through the inner tubing of a toilet roll compared to a full frame DSLR, which has a lot better viewfinder. And camera manufacturers cheaped out. They said, okay, we've got autofocus, we'll just remove all the manual focus aids, like a split image rangefinder. It's pretty much an evolution of the film cameras. It has all the standard functions. You've got manual, aperture priority, shutter priority, programmed, fully auto mode, some scene modes I've never used. ADEP, I've never really got to grips with that. That's another one of those ones where you can choose 2 points and it figures out the aperture for the depth of field. No, I can't be bothered with all that. Very much a pro-am camera. People said it was like a mini 1D, but I don't really think that's true. I'm going to focus today. As you can see, it has a little titchy tiny screen on it. There's the on-off switch, and you can turn the beep off by putting it up to there. That also, no, the beep isn't on there actually. The beep's in the menu. That's an on-off switch for this dial. If you put it there, it works. If you put it down there, it doesn't work. And it's quite useful to have it on. Menus, very simple compared to today. As you can see, it does shoot RAW, but the menu is just all on one page. So it's got a very simple menu. It's not a touch screen. It's a 2.5 inch, God knows how many pixels, not many. But yeah, it's all on one screen. No video. Very, very basic. You've got a thing up here for looking around when you're reviewing your pictures. You can get info on your pictures as well. So it gives you a lot of information on there. I'm not going to go into everything. You can see images that you've taken with it, and then yeah, you can zoom in with these buttons up here, and then you can scroll around using this sort of nipple thing here. The trash can, obviously, on off. An old set button in the middle. Everyone used to complain, you've got to focus. God's sake. And then yeah, you've got AF selection points, and I can't remember how many this has got. I think it's 9 or something. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, something like that. I didn't have all of them on, so it's quite a few. Usual thing, push buttons. So you've got autofocus mode, white balance, drive, self timer as well, ISO, different metering modes. It's got 3 of them, and also compensation, flash compensation. And if you put it into manual, one adjusts the shutter speed, and the other would adjust the aperture if we had a lens on there. So let me just stick a lens on there. They came predominantly with this kit lens. This has got the, although this is an EF mount, it's got the additional white dots, which is for EFS lenses. For those that don't know, EFS lenses have the white dot on them, and you line them up with the white dot rather than the red dot. Come on. So you line it up with that rather than with that. The red. You can put full frame lenses on it, but you've still got the crop factor to deal with. So a lot of them came with this lens, which is the 18 to 55, which is not a bad general purpose lens. As you can see, it does have stabilisation as well. Auto manual selector on the front. Got a hood on this one. Again, this is a later version. This was the STM version. This came out later. This wasn't current with this camera. I didn't have the STM, which is for video, basically. It's a silent motor. Can illuminate the display. Yeah, for £30, it's a testimony to Canon's quality, I think. So yeah, I'm quite 7.1. That's all the way down there. What's going on here? I think I must have messed something up. But yeah, you get the general idea. It shows the battery life, and down at the bottom here, it shows you the number of shots. I've got a 64 gig card in here. Talking of cards, this takes CF cards because they were the quickest cards at the time. It will run about 5 frames a second, so it's reasonably spec'd. So yeah, it takes CF cards, but I use this adapter, and this enables me to use these little. So I've got 64 gig in there at the moment, and it does see it as 64 gig. It will read a 64 gig card, which is why you've got like 1,000 shots on there. You can put 2 of these little, I don't know what these are called, these are micros or minis or something, but yeah, this is a 64 gig one. I use quite a lot of these adapters. So this is a CF adapter, but I also have the other one's SD card adapters, and I use the same one, the same size of these, because they also go in the phones as well. So useful little tip for you. These adapters are cheap, they're about 10 quid or something on eBay. Just got to be careful that the pins aren't damaged. That's the big thing with these cameras, because you can see there's a lot of, maybe you can't see, there's a lot of connections on them. So you've got to be quite gentle with putting them in. He says as I'm trying to do this on screen and I can't see what I'm doing. So I can't see the world on a TV and try and do things in it. I'm not used to that. I'm an old guy. But yeah, it's quite capable. I say for £30, I sort of couldn't resist it. It was like, well, why not? I have to remember how to use it again, but you can see it's yeah, it's working, it's functioning. yeah, you can have that zoom lens on it. They also released, this is a later lens that wasn't around at the time. This is the EFS 24mm. I think it's a 2.8, this one, isn't it? 24 2.8, so that's more like a standard lens on there. You can see how small and light it is. Again, I think these are STM lenses as well. Yeah, they are. These all came later, but it's what I really love about Canon is you don't have to mess about with, you know, like with Nikon, it's all pre-AI, AIS, G, AF, AFD. It's too complicated. That's why I sort of switched to Canon in the end. Although I do have a load of Nikon gear as well, but mainly the old manual focus stuff. But yeah, something completely different for you. That's a Sigma cap. That's a bit wrong, isn't it? So yeah, changing a lens, nice and simple. Standard Canon, anti-clockwise 90 degrees. Plastic mount on there, a little bit of metal mount on the body. So yeah, quite good. It's a sort of backup camera somebody would have had back in the day with a 5D. And sort of they go together, they share the same batteries, they share the same chargers. It would have been a great second camera to go with the full frame 5D. You can put a 50mm on it. I've got a 50mm 1.8, but again, this is an STM, it's a newer version. But that's more like a portrait lens because that would be about 80mm equivalent. So yeah, wide angles is where the issue was, but I do strongly recommend, and I will show you in an upcoming video, the 10 to 18. That's a cracking lens. And then you just line up the white dots, twist it on, and away you go. Don't have a lens hood for that one, but you can see it's a very small, pancakey type of lens. So there you go, folks. That's the video for today. I'm sorry if it upsets you that there's a digital camera on the channel, but we have to face reality, especially in these economic times, that digital, once you've made the initial purchase, the costs are a lot lower. Film photography, you've got to continually buy film. And particularly if you're at the learning stage, I don't see any harm in messing about with the digital camera. It's a good way of learning, and you know, your mistakes, you can just delete them rather than spending money on processing, etc. Battery losing the bottom down here, by the way. This battery compartment takes a bit of getting open. It's quite stiff to open, but yeah, it's a BP12, is it? I think the batteries in here. They last quite a long time, actually. They're quite big. Tripod mount with some external connections. You've got a video out, digital, remote release, and a PC socket for a flash gun. They're hidden behind these flaps on the side here. That's broken. That's unfortunate. Bit of weather sealing in there. I wouldn't say it's as robust as a 1D, but it'll survive a shower. Pardon me. But yeah, all in all, not a bad little camera. It's one that started me off down the road to digital photography. Oh, it does have a pop-up flash as well. I forgot about that. So many features nowadays. It does feature this built-in flash, which I wouldn't really recommend using it. On-camera flashes tend to be very direct and harsh. It does have the PC connection, so you could plug an external flash in there. Can't remember what the flash sync is, but it's pretty high. I think it's 125th or something. Shutter speeds go up to 4,000, I think. You can see I'm well prepared for this. Shutter speeds 8,000 to the second shutter speed. All the way down to probably 30 seconds, I would have thought, something like that. Yeah, 30 seconds to an 8,000 to the second. And ISO, push that button there, goes, let's drive. ISO would be this one, so 1600. It's not going to break any records. 100 to 1600. So yeah, very early days of digital photography, but that's enough for normal use. You know, it goes around shooting at 12,000 or 25,000. You know, it's very rare circumstances. But you know, instead it's 200, 400. I wouldn't use it at 1600, to be honest. I think there is a high as well. You can extend it also, but yeah. Interesting. Well, I thought for 30 quid it's worth a look. But anyway, enough of me whittering on, and thank you very much for watching. Thanks for all of you who responded to the last video about the channel needs your help, and yeah, I got some feedback from that, and I got some contacts to chase up over the weekend, and hopefully can start bringing you some talent, getting you some sample images. I find it more and more difficult to move about. Still paper on there and to get out, but yeah, stay tuned. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and all that usual YouTube stuff. I'll stick it at the end because it's the bit that normally annoys me most. This video just starts and people go, oh, subscribe, like. Well, I haven't even seen it yet, so I can know if I like it or not. And this channel's not sponsored by Squarespace or anybody like that. I find that really irritating as well. But yeah, thank you very much. Hope you have a nice weekend, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care. Bye.